Phill Mason for Crash Course Muso, and welcome back to another interview with great guitar players and friends. And today I'm honoured to welcome good friend and fellow guitar player Ian Larkin. Welcome, Ian.
Hello, Philip. How are you?
Good to join us today. Thank you. Got the full name there, Philip. Good job we know each other, isn't it? Now, you may, just before we kick off, I'll just point this out. I will refer to Ian as Ray often because that's what I call you all the time, isn't it? Because we play in a band together called Boned, and I know him as Raymond Remarkable. And
I know him as Johnny Marvellous.
You refer to me most likely as Johnny Marvellous, yeah. So, real names Phil and Ian, of course, as you now know, but if you hear Ray and Johnny, then that'll just make it a bit easier for you guys to understand. Okay, Ian, just going back, I know you've been playing for many, many years now, but can you remember back to the very first thing, you know, who or what influenced you to want to play the guitar?
Well, my dad, first of all, influenced me by buying me a guitar. He first of all bought me a ukulele banjo,
oh, okay.
then a guitar. And there was always lots of bluegrass records hanging around at home, like people like Earl Scruggs, Lester Flatt, in particular Doc Watson. I heard a Doc Watson album, which was very unusual for a lad of, I don't know, 10 or 11 that listened, I guess, to roots bluegrass country music. But
yeah.
But hearing this old boy pick the guitar, he must have been, I don't know, 60, 70 years old, I suppose.
Right.
But making that sound from one guitar, that's kind of what influenced me to want to explore further.
So it was hearing that, once you heard that, you thought, okay, I want to play like that, even at that young age? Is that?
Yeah, I think maybe I want to be able to do that, not necessarily in that style. It's just it came to that I actually play in that style, or it's a style similar to that. So it's obviously stuck with me.
Yeah, okay.
I would guess.
Can you remember now the very first thing that you nailed on the guitar? Because I know for a lot of guys watching at home, it's when you actually achieve something, you play and you think, oh my God, I can play.
Yeah.
You know, I've actually nailed that riff or chord riff or whatever it may be. That's a really big stepping point in a lot of people's playing. So can you remember what it was for you, the first thing that you successfully played on the guitar?
It was a riff from a song called "Shaken All Over," the intro, Johnny Kidd and the Pirates.
Johnny Kidd and the Pirates, yeah, no,
which is
brilliant, yeah.
A pentatonic blues scale, I believe.
Based around the pentatonic in E.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was that were you working that out because you were playing, or just you heard the song and wanted to work it out? Or?
I was working on chords. A C chord and F chord, basic chords, and I got fed up with just learning chords, so I heard the riff and thought, I'll try the riff.
It's a great riff to start with as well, isn't it? It's one of those.
It leads to other places.
Yeah, cool. Okay, Ian, when you first started playing, did you have an aha moment, something that just clicked up here when you were playing, you were working something out or trying something new, and all of a sudden, something happened in your guitar playing that just gave you the word go, if you like, this is it for Ian, I'm going to be a guitarist.
Yeah,
sure. Did you have a moment like that?
Yeah, of course.
And if so, can you share it with our viewers?
Well, yeah, I mean, to get things clean was the first aha moment. I thought, there it is. Trying to work on a lick where you stop some notes and to accompany yourself when singing. Really, nothing flash or anything. Just a. And when you're struggling to play that, to try and get that clean, and notes are buzzing down the bottom and at the top, but when that actually comes clean, you can speed it up.
So it's got a very tidy sound to it. So I mean, at what point of that was it that you thought, oh, I'm finally getting it, this is my aha moment? What was it when it started to sound cleaner to your ears?
Yeah, to my ears, and when you could roll it into the next chord, or to keep it rolling around, rather than just play it once.
Gotcha.
As when you can actually play it.
So, but it's the consistency of being able to roll it over and over again. Yeah. And was that something you had to practice, like 1,000 times, or did it just come to you naturally?
It came on guitar a little easier for me because I started playing a 5-string banjo with this, which is why I think I pick a guitar rather than strum a guitar a lot of the time. Yeah. Because and you're constantly working with a 5-string banjo, which is different tuning, but you're working on backwards and forwards picking routines, and it's the guitar was a little bit, because you can play the bass with the guitar. With the banjo, you can't. You constantly diddle, and it's just a little bit easier on the guitar. But that moment when you've got the...
Great, yeah, it sounds nice and clean. So there you go, guys. I mean, there's obviously repetition is the key there to be able to produce something that sounds like Ian just played there. And I know a lot of you guys are going to come up against a lot of fret buzz and string buzz when you're working that out, and you just need to check your fingers and make sure you've got a good clean chord.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
Ian?
definitely. Thumb as well. I don't think you can see my thumb. It's not over here.
Tilt the guitar back, the guys will be able to see what you're talking about. If you tilt your guitar down like this, that's it. Yeah.
Some people like to play with the thumb over the top. With this, you need the thumb to be fairly well in the middle, and I do anyway, and fairly well pressed in.
Gotcha.
And if you press in,
you're getting the right amount of pressure. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. You need to apply the right amount of pressure. Okay, Ray. When you pick up the guitar, do you have a favourite lick or riff that you often return to? You know, what is it that Raymond Remarkable / Ian Larkin plays when he picks a guitar up?
I think the good old fashioned, that, because it kind of sounds nice, it sounds full, and it warms me up a little bit. Yeah. I think it also comes from if I'm testing guitars, if I want to buy a new guitar or something as well.
So it's maybe a good sound check for your ears, isn't it?
Indeed, yeah. If it rings and you've got that pinch of the on there.
Yeah, it sounds good. So that's kind of like fast country bluegrass type licks there. Yeah. So there's that kind of
country blues and bluegrass.
Yeah. Okay. So if we could sort of deconstruct a bit of that just to share with our students who are watching, how can they achieve that kind of sound? You know, where do they start? You're basing something around an A chord there.
Yeah.
What is it that you sort of play onto and hammer? Can you give us the first lick?
Yeah.
So I can
I'll do it again.
Yeah. So we've basically got kind of a movement there on the A, and you see the third and fourth fingers coming in there, and you're using a little finger there. Ian's using a little finger to sort of play off, or you can use fingers 3 and 4 to play off the D string on the 5th and the 4th fret to give you that first little run. Okay, so we've got this sort of A chord. And what are you doing with your right hand here? What's happening?
I'm pinching. The thing about when you pick and rather than strumming, if I was strumming it, you can have that because you can still strum it because it's fairly open. But with picking it, you kind of only playing 1, 2, 3 notes, and then.
So what's happening there is Ian's playing the bass note with his thumb, okay, and then literally with the rest of the fingers is pinching part, or if not all of the chord, depending on what the chord is, to give you that sound. Is that right, Ian?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. But then the riff that comes off that, what our student's going to find a little bit tricky just to pick out is which fingers are being used to pull that out. So can you just play that riff for us again a bit steady? Okay, so again it's the first finger here. I don't know if you notice it here, but the first finger's coming in and actually pulling that this movement here again.
It's almost like a
rock and roll phrase, isn't it? Yeah. So we've got this.
So if you play that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Country shuffle.
Yeah. So it's just that obviously the feel is changing the style of the song. If you're going to do like this fast bluegrass thing, you're going to have this like this 1-2 feel. Obviously, it's slightly different to blues, but country and bluegrass there's a crossover there, isn't there? Lots of similarities, just for the nature of being a 12-bar blues.
Yeah.
And what would you play after that? After you've done the A, are you going to some sort of
I mean that's fairly well to accompany yourself. I'd always start that with just.
Okay, so let's just have a look at what's happening with the bass there. You've got this A, obviously off the opening string. Okay, and then there's an open E string there, and then the 3rd fret on the E string to a G.
Yeah.
So the bass is actually, Ian's playing the A chord there, but with a bass of A, open E, 6 to a G. Yeah, is that correct? Yeah. And occasionally bending. I don't know if you guys can see that, but occasionally just bending. And why do you bend it? Is it common in this style, or?
No, I think it just gives it that maybe a honky tonk kind of sound, but just a little bit. It's just a little bit different.
Sure, sounds great.
Again, it's very, very Chet Atkins, Scotty Moore. If you're looking for people to look at to copy this kind of style, James Burton in particular, maybe Albert Lee. I mean, although he's Albert's more of a an up the neck player or an all over player for licks. I mean, but for licks, all those sort of old guys.
Sure. And can you do this? You're going to go to a D chord.
Yeah,
what
sure.
would you do if you went to the D? What would happen then? That's great. That. Okay. And what's this chord shape you've got here?
Okay, it's a C chord, C7 chord shape.
Yeah.
Moved down 2 frets, moved up 2 frets, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're losing the first finger.
Okay.
Occasionally you're using it, and you.
Okay, I'm going to just stop you there. So what you can see is the third finger's coming out here. The bass is being played on the A string there, which is the note of D, and the finger's coming off and going to the third fret here to play the A note. So the bass is A, D, A, D, A, which gives that great sound, okay? And then you'll be back to A, correct? Brilliant. Okay, that's great. Yeah, nice. Sits really well. Okay, guys, so I hope you got something from that. Just basically just Ian was playing an A chord there and using bass notes to sort of pace the rhythm, doing the rhythm section like a bass player would. Yeah,
it's about playing on your own. If you're playing with just two, again, if you're playing with two guitar players with no bass player, a lot of the times these guys didn't have a bass player. I think that if you look at the Beatles when they first started, they didn't have a bass player. Paul McCartney was playing mostly. And he was
riffs on the guitar,
as well as chords. As fast and as slow as you like, but it kind of accompanies you to be able to do something nice and full with just two guitars without a bass player.
Yeah. Ian, finally, a lot of our viewers are picking up the guitar for the very first time, and they're going to be really interested in this bluegrass style of guitar.
Yeah.
If you could give them one piece of advice as to how to get into playing that, I mean, where would you say they should start? What's the first thing they should try and pick up or try and master first?
Well, I think the easiest thing, or the first thing where everything comes from, is for this style is the bass accompaniment. So we're playing E and we're pinching A, pinching the next two strings down.
Yeah.
The D and the G. Yeah.
Great.
A little slower.
So you're not making any chords there. You notice on the neck there are no chords being made. Yeah. You're just literally practicing the right hand there, aren't you? Okay.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah. It's right hand.
Excellent. Okay. So obviously, what Ian's going for there is making sure you've got a clean sound, right?
Indeed.
To make sure it's not all over the shop.
Yeah.
And okay, cool.
It has to be clean. You could strum that as well if you wanted to, but you have to bear in mind that you only really need to use the strings that you are picking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Up here.
And then
so you could apply the A to that.
And I assume A is a good place to start.
A is a great place to start. It's the easiest chord to play, because your bass notes are completely open. You're not having to fret your bass notes.
Which is A and E. Right? Okay.
So there's your. And you don't have to worry about ringing the A too much.
Yeah.
Because you're not actually using the E.
The top E. Yeah. Okay.
For this particular exercise.
Okay, so there you go, folks. Thanks for that, Ian. That's great. That is a great place to start. So if you practice your bass technique, really, there is, and the pinching of the chord. Yeah. So would you class it as vamping? Is that
almost
vamping?
Almost like a piano player would vamp to accompany yourself. You're playing. You're trying to play everything.
You're the bass player and the chord maker
and the rhythm player. Yeah.
Brilliant, great.
And basically you have to practice.
Yeah, lots of practice.
All the time.
You know that anyway. Brilliant. That's been great, Ian. Thanks so much. I really appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
If people want to find out more about you, is there anywhere where they can go to sort of find out more about Ian Larkin / Raymond Remarkable?
Send them to the good old-fashioned boned.biz.
Okay, boned.biz. That's the band that you are the bass player for, of course.
Indeed.
As Raymond Remarkable.
Lots of this.
Yeah. Lots of that going on. Okay, guys, so there you have it. Some great country bluegrass licks from Ian there. I hope you've got something from this and you can take that away and start at the basic level there and apply it to your own playing. Thanks, Ian, for your time. Appreciate it, mate. Really great to have you here and sharing your fonts of knowledge with our students. Okay, take care, guys. Phill Mason and Ian Larkin from Crash Course Muso, and look forward to seeing you again in interviews soon. Okay, shall we hillbilly the hell out of here?
Yeah.
Say hee-haw.